Hello, hello, hello. Bryden here. Hope everything's going well. Wanted to talk about something pretty interesting, at least to me, today, which is this rise of Jack Harlow, who is a hip hop artist. I'll pull him up on the screen here right now. And for anyone who has known me for a while, at one point in my life, I had wanted to be a hip hop artist. I would rap, I would freestyle. I still write lyrics. I still do freestyles all the time. And growing up, the idea of this, being a hip hop artist, being a creator, even I would say, with what YouTube and all these platforms have enabled, wasn't a legitimate path to success or something that was encouraged. And so it wasn't really necessarily the path I chose, although I'll continue to experiment, have fun, and do lots of stuff. But with sort of this next generation, there's been this rise in creators, rise in artists, and in a much more, I would say, non-traditional way than what we had seen, where the barriers, the record labels, these people allow you to have success. They don't have the same hold on people, and are the ones that are blocking or making people have success. And so one of the things that I found very interesting, Jack Harlow, does some, he has some big songs. He's, finding some success right now. He's 24 years old, came from Kentucky, and as he released this new album, "Come Home, the Kids Miss You," I started to listen to some interviews because I just think he's an interesting character. I think anyone who gets this much heat at a young age is at least fascinating to understand and learn from. And so I started to listen to these interviews, and then you realize, for what I realized was like how much his sort of rise in hip hop, and I think this is a parallel in many, is also how that has so many parallels with the rise of, I would say, a startup or a company or building your own business. And so I just wanted to lay a couple of those things out that I had heard from some of these interviews, some of these things, and see if at least my thought process around this lines up with maybe yours, and I think maybe some interesting insights along the way. So one of the first things that I wanted to touch on, and I don't think I'm going to play the music because I don't know what happens actually when you play music, but this is Jack Harlow. I don't know exactly how old, 15-year-old Jack Harlow, rapping. I know he talked about this in one of the videos, really embarrassed about this. But what I look at this as is this idea of an MVP. And so when you're building a software product, you are not going to have the fully polished version of the product that you are going to release to the public. You have the resources, you have the capacity, you have the team with you at that moment, and you have to sort of release that, put that out live, and then start to gather feedback. And that's exactly what Jack Harlow did in this situation. Was maybe he's embarrassed about some of these videos, but it allowed him to build a little bit of a community, build some hype, get feedback on what people liked about his music, what they didn't like, and then he continued to iterate and grow based off that. So I think that's an ongoing journey that any company is also going, especially when you're building products, when you're releasing them. You don't necessarily know if or feel that maybe this is good enough, but you need to release it to get those insights and to continue to improve. So just a little part that I thought was pretty fascinating there. The next part that he talked about, and you can see in here, is he's originally from Louisville, Kentucky, and not much in terms of artistry from there, at least from his description. I don't know that too intimately, but as he started to invest in this journey, he actually moved to Atlanta, where there was a lot more opportunity to do open mics, to do freestyles, to build a community and a culture that he could connect with and grow with together, and that wasn't available to him in Kentucky, and so he moved to Atlanta. And this, I feel like, is a parallel for many of us starting businesses, doing startups, where maybe the city that you are in doesn't have those same opportunities. It doesn't have those networks. It doesn't have those communities that are going to bring you to success. And so you then move. And for me, that parallel was moving from London, Ontario to Toronto, Ontario. And I've talked about the bad misfortune of timing, but that same thing, which was I was realizing if I went to Toronto, the events there, the networking events, even if I had wanted to do hip hop, even if I had wanted to stand up, whatever it was, there were more opportunities to get on stage, to network with people, to interact with people who were doing really exciting things. And so Jack Harlow also saw this opportunity by moving to Atlanta, and then that then accelerated his career, built connections with community, and then helped him grow. And then that then talks to the next part of this, which was a really famous person here. I'll just pull up a picture, DJ Drama, who had been a staple in hip hop for years and years and years, and had been known for starting to break artists. So break artists mean introduce them, help them hit more of a mainstream audience, grow, whether it's signed record labels, whatever it was, to help bring them to the next point in their career. And by moving to Atlanta, Jack Harlow then had the opportunity to meet with DJ Drama, some other people here who then sort of co-signed him, advised him, became mentors. And that is also something that then is an instrumental part to the startup journey. You are bringing on advisors and mentors who know more than you, who can help guide you through the difficult journey that it no doubt will be, and maybe help you avoid mistakes that they had made in their previous career, so that you can move more efficiently and smoothly to the goal that you have. So this idea of finding advisors and investors to support development becomes a big part. Through the signing, there was cash given that allowed to then further the development of the product, in this case, music, more releases, music videos, and continue to build that community, iterate, get feedback, and then grow and grow and grow. And then the last part that is, I think is worth touching on, something expertly done by him, and I think done by a lot of great startups and companies, is aligning yourself with credible people. And so in this case, there's some silly pictures here. In this case, one of the, absolute legend in hip hop, grateful to have him here from Toronto and representing Canada so much, but connected with Drake, with Lil Wayne, with Justin Timberlake, all these sort of legends in hip hop who, by associating with them, is then building credibility, is almost like a co-signing that his product, that him, are worthy of respect, are worthy of interacting with, of following, of supporting. And through that sort of social credibility and introduction to their own audiences, Drake, Lil Wayne, Justin Timberlake, all these people, that is a big stamp of approval that allows Jack Harlow to continue to grow and now have even more of a confident foundation behind him. And it also sort of spoke to this journey of like, early on in the stage, this wasn't what's happening, right? Like, Drake's not going to interact with you or get on a song with you if you don't show any traction, if you don't show any growth, if you don't show that people who are, I look at retention and churn in products, if they're not listening, they're not watching back, they're not showing up to shows and paying to see you perform. Without those signals of success, most of these people are not going to support an artist because they just don't know if it's successful, and it could actually have negative effects on that person who has worked so hard to build their career. And so I look at then DJ Drama as like a pre-seed or seed investor who invested very early into Jack Harlow, and now is most likely getting paid dividends because of that, when no one was really messing with him, when no one was supporting him in the same way. They got in early and invested, they put the time, they put the energy, and brought him to this next stage, and then they reaped the rewards. Whereas Drake and some of these other artists are maybe Series B, where he's already shown the traction. He's hit his ARR mark in terms of revenue, and now there's other levels to this, as well as aligning with the next up and coming person in hip hop and culture and pop. And I think this is something that he's also done really well, is transcend beyond just hip hop into some of these more mainstream things, very precise with marketing through TikTok and things like that. So I hope this was not too much of a reach. I'm sure that there is more, and if I listened to more interviews or I read more, I'm sure that there is even more parallels to his journey and someone going through the startup journey. But I just thought this was an interesting a process or thought process that had emerged as I was listening and learning a little bit more of him, as well as the album Come Home, The Kids Miss You. And overall, I'm a fan. It excites me to see it. Sort of a white guy with curly hair, funny, goofy, but also focused, cares about his career. I think those are all good inspirations for us as we could all continue on our journeys towards success. And I hope that a couple of these items here made sense and even give you some ideas on that journey. So thank you so much for checking this out. Hope you have a great rest of the day. Bye.